Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about one of the most exhausting cycles in modern health, the symptom chase. You feel bloated, so you eliminate a food. The bloating shifts but doesn't disappear, so you eliminate another. You feel tired, so you try a new supplement. The fatigue improves slightly for a week and then returns. You feel anxious, so you add magnesium. Your skin breaks out, so you change your cleanser. Your joints ache, so you add turmeric. And at the end of all of it, after months or years of adjusting variables one at a time, you still don't feel well. You just have a longer list of things you've tried. This is what chasing symptoms looks like. And the reason it doesn't work is not that the interventions were wrong. It's that each one was aimed at the output of a problem rather than its origin. Today, I want to offer something different. A 5-step framework for addressing the root, not the result. The first step is to stop treating the gut as one organ with one problem. Your gut is an ecosystem. It has a lining that needs structural integrity, a bacterial population that needs diversity, a motility system that needs rhythmic function, an immune layer that needs calibration, and a communication network that needs to be operating in the right direction. When you have symptoms, bloating, irregularity, discomfort, sensitivity, the instinct is to find the single cause. But according to research, functional gut symptoms in young adults almost universally involve at least two of these layers simultaneously. Treating only one is why relief is partial and temporary. The practical shift here is to stop asking what is causing this symptom and start asking which systems are involved. Bloating is not one thing. It can be dysbiosis, impaired motility, gut permeability, stress-driven enzyme suppression, or bacterial overgrowth, and the intervention that helps one cause can worsen another. The first step is widening the lens. The second step is to address gut permeability before anything else. This is the foundation. Because if the gut barrier is compromised, every other intervention is operating in a leaky system. Nutrients you supplement may be poorly absorbed. Foods you carefully choose may still trigger immune responses. Probiotics you introduce may not survive or colonize in a hostile environment. According to research, gut barrier repair requires 3 primary inputs: adequate dietary zinc, sufficient butyrate-producing fiber, and removal of the chronic stressors, whether dietary, psychological, or behavioral, that are actively degrading the lining. In one study, targeted nutritional support for gut barrier function over 4 weeks produced measurable reductions in intestinal permeability markers and parallel improvements in systemic inflammatory load, independent of other dietary changes. The barrier has to come first. Everything builds on it. The third step is to rebuild microbial diversity deliberately and patiently. Not with a probiotic capsule alone, though that can be one input. With dietary variety. With fermented foods, with prebiotic fiber sources that feed the populations you want to grow. According to research, the most reliable predictor of microbiome diversity is the number of different whole plant foods consumed per week, with 30 or more associated with significantly better diversity outcomes than 10 or fewer. This is not about eating perfectly. It is about eating widely. Diversity matters because different bacterial strains perform different functions. Some regulate serotonin precursor availability. Some produce butyrate for the gut lining and the brain. Some calibrate the immune response to prevent overreaction to food proteins. Some regulate estrogen metabolism. Losing diversity doesn't cause one problem, it degrades multiple systems simultaneously. Rebuilding it doesn't happen in a week, but it begins in a week, and the trajectory matters more than the speed. The fourth step is to stabilize the hormonal environment in which the gut is operating. This step is the one most people skip entirely because it doesn't involve food directly. But the gut does not function in isolation. It functions inside a body that is regulated by cortisol, insulin, thyroid hormones, and sex hormones, all of which directly affect gut motility, gut permeability, microbiome composition, and digestive enzyme output. A gut being treated with the most optimal diet in the world will still underperform if cortisol is chronically elevated, if blood glucose is swinging wildly, or if sleep is insufficient to allow overnight hormonal recalibration. According to research, cortisol directly increases intestinal permeability, disrupts the migrating motor complex, and suppresses the immune tolerance mechanisms that prevent food sensitivities. Managing the hormonal environment means managing sleep consistency, managing the stress load on the nervous system, and stabilizing blood glucose through meal timing and composition. These are not lifestyle add-ons. They are non-negotiable inputs into gut function. The fifth step is to measure progress by how you feel across systems, not by whether one symptom has disappeared. This is the step that changes the relationship with the process entirely. When you chase symptoms, every outcome is binary. The bloating is either gone or it isn't. The fatigue is either fixed or it isn't. And when it isn't fully resolved, which it rarely is, in the short term, when working on root causes, the instinct is to conclude that the approach isn't working and to try something else. But root cause work produces signal differently. It shows up first as a slight reduction in symptom intensity, then in better energy on days you eat well and sleep consistently, then in a broadening of food tolerance that you notice only in retrospect, then in a mood baseline that has quietly lifted over weeks. I hope this gave you a framework you can actually orient around. Drop a comment and tell me which step you've been missing. I genuinely want to know. If this was useful, hit the like button and share it with someone who is exhausted from trying everything and still not feeling well. And if you're new to Nutriflow, this is exactly the conversation we have here. Subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one.